All my life I've been searching for something. Something never comes, never leads to nothing. Nothing satisfies, but I'm getting close. Closer to the prize at the end of the rope. All night long I dream of the day when it comes around and it's taken away. Leaves me with the feeling that I feel the most. Feel it come to life when I see your ghost.
Racing. It can be defined as a competition between two or more players who try to cover a certain distance in the fastest possible time. To a very select few, it's a serious profession with big money contracts, fueled by sponsorship deals, television coverage, and a massive fan base. For those true lovers of the sport, it's a hobby. A hobby that takes over weekends, bank accounts, and ultimately entire psyches. Each rider has their own reason for suiting up in head-to-toe leathers, helmet, and back protector, and then hopping onto some of the most powerful machines on the roads today.
It's not so much about racing against other people, it's racing against myself. I go out and I do a lap time, and the natural challenger in myself wants to better that time. But really, I'm in a battle for myself. Self-improvement, I guess, is the biggest thing.
Honestly, it's just the thrill, I guess. There's really nothing like the feeling of being wide open throttle or hard on the brakes, knee on the ground, elbow skimming the pavement. Like, there's just nothing to me that compares to that.
I really enjoyed the sport. I came out just to watch. I ended up volunteering, and then I just decided to try it. I really enjoy the club, the family that we have here. Everybody's very encouraging, and I've just been having a lot of fun going out race after race and chasing people. Everybody's my rabbit.
I really enjoy racing because I like the speed, the adrenaline, and I just feel like that's where I belong, is racing out on the track, and I feel really comfortable when I'm doing it.
It's a passion. It's something that comes from the heart. It's something that I do that I can't explain. You know, I'm meant to get into it just as a hobby, but every year it's become more and more of an obsession.
Riding, I a big 1000cc bike that will kill you if you don't pay attention. It makes you focus. Whether you want to focus or not, it makes you focus. Just being able to ride at this sort of competitive level, it forces you to, and it makes it so that you don't have any opportunity to make mistakes. And that's, I guess maybe that danger is part of the fun of it. You have to be able to ride 100%. When it's all said and done, I feel like I've accomplished something, that I've been able to sit and just focus on 15 laps of a superbike race.
For the competitors of the Edmonton Motorcycle Road Racing Association, better known as the EMRA, the weekend of September 13th, 14th, and 15th will forever be etched in their mind as they say goodbye to an old friend, Stratotech Park. Stratotech Park was the home to hundreds of racers of every discipline. From karts to drift cars, mini bikes and sport bikes, there is no denying that the affectionately named Strato has a special place in many people's hearts. This track gave riders of all levels a safe place to take their motorcycles to test their limits. With a hefty schedule of racing and track days, no rider had an excuse for racing on the street.
Stratotech as a track itself is an absolutely phenomenal racetrack. To this day, it's one of the smoothest tracks in Canada that I've been on. You have to do your work to navigate around this track. You can't just kind of float around. The corners don't allow a lot of mistakes. You got to be on your game. So it's a thinking man's racetrack, and I really enjoy it.
What Stratotech really offers is just, it's a perfect technical environment to learn like the basic skills that you need to go fast on a bike. We can be mid-packers our first time at a brand new track, just because this track, it's so technical, it builds skills really quickly, I think.
This facility is amazing. The landscape, the drainage, the traction, you just can go. You feel safe out there. There's nothing in your way.
It's just a safe place to ride. I've been racing for 7 years, crashed 20 times on the racetrack, took 5 days off work just for sore muscles and stuff. One accident on the street, couldn't walk for 1.5 years. This is a lot safer than riding on the street. If I had a sport bike on the street, there's no way I'd be able to go as hard as I do for as long as I do and be alive today. It just wouldn't happen.
You still have guys that want to go fast, and the bikes aren't changing, so you've got bikes that are going to go fast, you got cars that are going to go fast. All these guys are going to go out and they're going to ride. They're going to drive quickly. It's going to happen. The difference is that now you don't have an outlet for them. A racetrack as a whole gives you a venue for that outlet, for that ability to be able to go fast. The safety here at the track makes it so that not only can you go fast, but you don't have to worry about anybody being seriously hurt. We have staff on site so that if there is an incident, you're no more than a few hundred feet away from our ambulance. So there's definitely all those sort of things that the track brings to us.
A facility like this is mandatory, I think, in this day and age with so many people riding motorcycles and sport bikes and so many people getting into the sport. We really do need a safe facility where they can come and practice, learn what their bikes can do. 99% of the crashes out there are inexperience, or people just, they lose control of their bike because they don't know that they can actually push that bike and lean it over harder, steer sharper, and these are all the skills you learn out here at this track. We've just had so many talents come through here, and they all swear by this track. It may be tight, it may be short, lower speed, but it's really technical, and it's got a really cool flow to it that actually teaches you a lot for when you go to the bigger tracks.
The thing I really like about Stratotech is it's really safe, it's smooth, and it's really technical, so it really makes you work on your corner speed and utilizing every square inch of the track. So this place helps you for when you go to other tracks. Even though they're bigger and they're faster, all the same principles apply, and you just have more room to do it.
Every track is unique. Some are fast, wide, and flowing, and some are tight and technical. Stratotech has its own challenges, and the best way to understand the character of this track is through the eyes of the riders themselves.
Well, the front stretches are fastest part of the track. They're in between 210 and 220, you know, and that's fast. It sounds fast, but on a bike, you know, there's still a lot more to go. You get down there and it's a really hard braking zone, and it's a almost a 90-degree turn down there, so it's a good passing zone for, you know, getting in those brake duels.
Try to leave your turn in as late as you possibly can as you turn into corner one, carrying as much speed as you can. And then you cut it hard into the apex one, and you try to get the bike stood up as best you can, accelerating hard coming out onto the back straight.
Driving out of one, the bike will start to spin until it hooks up, and the bike will carry just a little bit of air under the front tire right to the crest of the straightaway. From there, you need to be thinking about your brake markers, making sure to hit it perfectly, because a small track like Stratotech, brakes are at a premium.
There's a little black mark on the pavement that I look to as a turning point. Down and on the gas as quickly as I can, feel the bike squirm a little bit.
And you got to turn in really light there and carry lots of corner speed. You find there you get a lot of G-forces, and the front end wants to start pushing a little bit on you as you go down the banking.
Between 2 and 3, the bike picks itself up. Wheelies, you have to chop the throttle just in time in order to try and get the front tire onto the ground in order to get onto the brakes, not over brake for 3 so you can pick up the throttle as early as possible.
Going into 3 is just a slight roll off of the gas and tip it in there, depending on how hot you're in there, maybe a slight just tap of the brakes. And then you get into the really technical part of the track.
4, 5, 6 is one of the most interesting parts of the track, because as you come through, you're at full lean angle, coming over a crest and trying to get weight transfer between the front and the rear just enough that you don't tuck the front over the crest.
5 is a bit of a tough mental corner because you want to turn earlier in than you have to, but you have to force yourself to be patient, wait to turn in.
Enter wide, carry in as much speed as you can, hug it in tight for that late apex, and then hard acceleration out of 5 while you're standing the bike up. You're mentally trying to stand on the opposite peg of the bike, get that bike stood up as much as you can so you can get on the gas hard.
And then as you come out of 5, there's a little rise that goes up and then back down into 7. Going into 7 is a really high speed sweeping type corner. You just come out of there, there's a lot of banking on that corner. You can really roll on the gas hard.
As you go into corner 8 is coming from the fastest corner, is now the slowest corner on the track. As you put it into corner 8, a lot of guys rush into the beginning and then have to park it at the apex. I carry a tighter line and set my line up for corner 9. Corner 9 is my favorite corner on the track. As I come through corner 9, I'm putting that bike onto its side, I'm getting into the gas as early as I can, I'm finding the edge of traction.
Corner 9 kind of starts with a bank and then flattens out. That's why you see some guys high side coming out of there, they get on the gas and it starts to flatten out, they lose traction, and that's it. Like I said, really technical track. It's got a lot of elements that'll teach you to run at bigger tracks. All the elements that were built into this track make it such a phenomenal racetrack. You know, it's a tight track, makes it really hard to pass. You know, me and Justin all year have been going at it, but to get by them, it's one thing to run the same pace, it's another to put in a pass, you know, and keeps you focused on what you need to do, knowing that, hey, that we're not the fastest, there's still more speed to be had out there, eh? So.
Crashing is a part of our sport. Many riders will tell you that while it seems spectacular, crashing on a racetrack is safer than you would imagine. The leather racing suits, helmets, and extensive gear protect riders, and runoff stretches do allow for crashes without the sudden stop of light poles or other vehicles found on our public streets.
Well, when I'm about to crash, I can usually feel the front end or the back end starting to go. The key thing is you got to sprawl out so that you don't start tumbling. And you just got to stay nice and loose and relaxed and just hold on for the ride.
Usually, I mean, more often than not, it's just a mental mistake. It usually just happens in an instant. There's not really, at least in the crashes I've had, there's not a lot of, oh man, I need to save this, I need to save it. It's been just like, okay, I'm on the brakes, and suddenly like, oh, it's gone. And at that point, it's like, try to keep my head off the ground, don't bash up my helmet, kind of tuck and roll.
When it happens, it's not, oh my God, I'm crashing. It's, damn, here I go again. I'm very disappointed in myself. I'm always hard on myself, and it's part of racing. And at the end of the day, I just got to get back on the bike and go again.
It's one of those things, it is part of the sport, and if you're going to push your limits, you're going to end up there. You know, I wish more people would come out here to learn the skills, because there might be a lot less crashing going on, but I wish we all had that mellow way of learning, and it's slowly approaching our speed. But you know, us men, we're all about turning the throttle, so we usually get ourselves in trouble doing it. So
this track is one of the safest tracks I've ever had an opportunity to race on. I've had the opportunity to race all over the Western United States, try out 10 or 15 different tracks, and this still ranks as probably the safest track I've ever been on. However, with that said, we always have problems. There's always going to be something that happens. We had a rider yesterday break her femur, you know, in a bad crash, and it's terrible. However, unfortunately, it's part of the risks that we take. Anytime you put 25 lunatics on the track at the same time and ask them to fight for the same piece of asphalt, you'll find that something happens. We do our absolute best though with the EMRA to try and make sure that everybody gets a chance to ride as safely as possible.
It takes an army of volunteers to allow these riders to do what they love so much. Stratotech was never short for enthusiastic volunteers with a passion for racing.
This is a grassroots racing setup. I mean, the EMRA has always been based on volunteers. So right from the club president, Ian Wall, to myself, to all of the volunteers that come out and actually spend time working in the corners, they're all volunteers.
Volunteers are hugely important. Honestly, we couldn't run the events without volunteers. Everybody plays their own small part, but without everybody combining efforts, we literally couldn't pull this off.
If we didn't have volunteers, we wouldn't be racing. We need the people out there to just help pickups and watch for crashes, because you just can't have enough eyes from just one spot. So you need multiple people all over the place. The volunteers are critical. Without them, we don't race.
We've tried to do our best in order to reward the volunteers any way that we can in order to try and keep them coming back. Back in 2006, we started the race organizing committee, where we started having volunteers come in and get an opportunity to get free track days. Those track days took some of our track day riders and got them into racing. Some of those racers are over here with the same, same race colors as we've got right now. So it's kind of a mentorship, and I mean that volunteer program is really it's what keeps this club running.
With only one more chance to race on their home track, championship leader Justin Napick knew he wanted that final checkered flag. His main competitor, Jason Komatiki, was even hungrier for a win. Como had finished second all year, right behind the number 9 bike of Napick. With that desire to win, an absolutely incredible display of racing and camaraderie was about to occur on track. The chapter of racing in Fort Saskatchewan has been closed, and with the move to the bigger, faster, but simply put, more dangerous track in Leduc, the story of motorcycle racing in Alberta will continue.
Well, this is a 10 years of coming up this little piece of gravel here. I remember the first time I came in, it was filled with bikes, and I remember just being incredibly excited. Like knowing that I was going to get a chance to go out on a racetrack with a motorcycle. That's ridiculous. That's so much fun. I can't believe it. And so it's really sad this weekend to watch it all kind of go because of the fact that it's 10 years of watching it happen, and now it's not going to be there anymore.
I'm going to miss this place. It's been my summer home for 5 years, and I'm going to miss it. The end of tomorrow is the end of my racing. It's going to be a tough day tomorrow. I know it's the end for me. I know it's the end for a few other people. And it's not solely because Stratotech is closing or that Castrol is as scary as people are saying that it's going to be, because it won't be once we've got it set up the way we want it. But it's just time. A lot of us, we've been here for a while. It's time to let some new blood out there.
Honestly, it's more emotional than I really ever thought it would be. I mean, this track has been like a second home to me for the last 5 summers of my life. Like, it's really hard to even imagine not being here, and the reality of that hitting me now is tough. Now that's the last day. I mean, the nerves have almost just gone away now, and I just want to go out and just enjoy it. Just try to make my last day here a good one and something to remember.
However, I would really miss this family that we have. It's a lot different showing up to a paddock where you know everybody's name, you know everybody's family, you spend as much time riding as you do talking to people. So I would really miss this. I'm really hoping that Castrol helps us keep this moving.
Once again, it's the loss of a track, and I think any loss of a track is a hit. There's always the financial and the fiscal losses and all that kind of stuff, but the big hit is, I think, to the community. The EMRA has always been a really close club, and just to lose that sense of community is very tragic. It's like a city losing a hockey team, and everybody feels the pain. Everybody's spirits are dampened because of it.
It's going to be a sad day. This really is. This has been a big part of my life. I haven't done anything more other than work my career longer than race motorcycles and at this facility. You know, I've been here since the very first race, and I've been here almost every race weekend. I consider this my second family out here. I come out here, I spend my weekends here. This is my holidays. I enjoy sitting around at night in the pits and talking with everybody. It's a social scene after the races are done. Seeing this track close breaks my heart, because I know there'll be generations coming up here that won't get the opportunity to run at such a safe, awesome facility.
I know what it's like to close down a racetrack. I was at Calgary And it was tough to watch friends and family and everybody I know out there shut down something that they love to do. Here we're lucky enough to have Castrol, but here's an end of an era here. I really feel for the guys that just don't come back, because they're quitting something they love to do. And if you're not doing what you love, are you really living? And this is what we do. We hop on the bikes and I go to work 15 days in a row to be able to come out here and enjoy life. That's all I got. What else can I say?
Waking up to ash and dust, I wipe my brow and I sweat my rust. I'm breathing in the chemicals. I'm breaking in, shaping up, then checking out on the prison bus. This is it, the apocalypse. Whoa, I'm waking up, I feel it in my bones. Enough to make my system blow. Welcome to the new age, to the new age. Welcome to the new age, to the new age. I'm radioactive, radioactive. I'm radioactive, radioactive. Raise my flag, down my clothes. It's a revolution, I suppose. We're painted red to fit right in. Whoa. I'm breaking in, shaping up, then checking out on the prison bus. This is it, the apocalypse. Whoa, I'm waking up, I feel it in my bones. Enough to make my system blow. Welcome to the new age, to the new age. Welcome to the new age, to the new age. I'm radioactive, radioactive. I'm radioactive, radioactive. All systems go. The sun hasn't died. Deep in my bones, straight from inside. I'm waking up. I feel it in my bones. Enough to make my system blow. Welcome to the new age, to the new age. Welcome to the new age, to the new age. I'm radioactive, radioactive. I'm radioactive, radioactive.
Reluctantly crouched at the starting line, engines pumping and thumping in time. The green light flashes, the flags go up. Churning and burning, they yearn for the cup. They deftly maneuver and muscle for rank. Fuel burning fast on an empty tank. Reckless and wild, they pour through the turns. Their prowess is potent and secretly stern. As they speed through the finish, the flags go down. The fans get up and they get out of town. The arena is empty, except for one man still driving and striving as fast as he can. The sun has gone down and the moon